I wouldn't have a career without the creators of Soundtrap. Like, I have respect for them, but they do not know how to use their own platform. In this video, they answer live Q&A questions from people asking about how to do things in Soundtrap, and partly it's because they can't say how to do a lot of the things for legal reasons. Maybe they can't say it because it would drive traffic away from Soundtrap, or they're just really incompetent engineers. I don't know how it happened, but I'm going to answer every single one of these questions they have back with the right answer.
When you import audio loops, is there any way of conforming them to the native tempo if they're slightly out, like the way you quantized MIDI?
It's because you can't do that natively in Soundtrap.
Okay, so you have an audio is, for example, voice or a guitar or something, and
it's not quite synced.
But what you could do is chop it up and adjust it to every beat, or you could just change the tempo of the project.
Right.
But like, imagine like having a whole song, and then you want to put the sample in because it would work really well, and then you get your question answered by the people who made the program, and they're like, nah, you just got to change your whole project. You don't. You can do this. I'm editing right now, and I'm deciding to leave the explanation of how to do this in the end of the video because it's pretty lengthy, and I just saw that this dude was trying to explain the second method that I teach at the end of the video, but he like didn't do it. The girl that's with him says you're getting too complicated, like instantly, and we're not children. So that's at the end. Just check this out right now and we'll move on.
Change the project before you import the loop to the loops.
To the right tempo.
Right, to the right tempo.
That's a good advice.
Import that and then turn it back to the original tempo, and you should have in
He's
tempo.
making it way too hard now.
Yeah, I'm so high on endorphins right now, but
children, and we'll move on.
What are the pros and cons of the free version?
Auto-tune and save more projects. Only pros of the paid version. Not worth it. So if you're gonna do the paid one, get the music makers and not the complete thing. Don't worry about having Splice. Splice would be great, but you could get a bunch of stuff for free. Like, you don't need to pay $5 a month extra.
What's your advice to amateur songwriters using Soundtrap?
try not to make things difficult by like focusing on the small stuff. Always big picture. Just like throw stuff in, don't filter stuff.
This one seems like a tiny one, but this is the biggest question. Maybe even why I made this entire video. Maybe like in an ideal creative world, to create the best things that you want, you focus on the main picture. That's good. That advice is good once you know the program. The first piece of advice that I would give to anybody is spend a dedicated amount of time slowly and incrementally learning as much about the instrument as you can so the second part comes easy. That's why I made this whole channel. I don't want to make things difficult either, but that's not the way to do it. If you have a sound in your head, you have to make things difficult if you don't know how to make that sound. If you want to chop up a sample, make a melody with this instrument or something, you got to learn how to do that stuff first. Like, Soundtrap is an instrument. Computers are an instrument. Like, that's what it is. It doesn't have to be my channel. It doesn't have to be their channel. It could be whatever it is. But like, just spend a dedicated small amount of time a day to learning tricks, learning the program, doing little things in the program. Imprint yourself with the tech, so that it comes easy once you have the ideas. If this was totally transparent to us and we could figure the big picture out right away, I wouldn't need a channel. You wouldn't need to be doing this Q&A. Nobody would have to educate on Soundtrap. All the Soundtrap for Education people wouldn't need to do that, right? You need to learn this stuff first. And then once you learn how to do the thing, imprint yourself with as much learning as you can, and then create and think about the big picture once you're there.
Space to save your audio loops? If so, how much?
So when you have the premium version, you have unlimited storage.
Right.
So you can save as much as you like, both audio and MIDI. And
I think they missed the question though. She's saying, do you get like space to save the MP3s and stuff? Maybe because she doesn't have like enough desktop space. And if that's the case, no.
Could someone use a mic built in their PC?
Of course. Yeah.
built-in microphones work really well. So you don't need any specific hardware to record. I mean, you can go a long way.
Yeah.
And also our effects.
We have a bunch of presets.
No.
We actually have a computer mic enhancer.
Never. Hey, you. I never want to see you using the built-in microphone enhancer preset on Soundtrap. I don't know what engineer did this. This is like the incompetence thing I'm talking about. Like, don't you hear what the microphones sound like? I think what happened, like, why would you boost the low end? That's my question. Why would you boost the low end, cut in the mids, and then why would you dip off the high stuff? What I think happened is they hired some weird engineer. I don't even know. Like, maybe it's a vocal. Like, the vocal isn't meant to sound like it does on the microphone. Like, like, who thought that'd be a good idea? It's like, it should be the exact opposite curve.
How do I make my voice recordings more clear without tuning out the music completely?
The mic is already preloaded with the EQ, both of them. And they're like tuned to specifically work for the computer microphone. And then if you jump in and add another one, you can either use compressor 1, which is super simple. It's just one knob. And
I want to make your vocals pop. Like, go to the vocal video on my channel. Do the opposite curve of what this EQ says. Put a dynamic compressor, not the compressor 1 on things. Learn how to use those settings, have an attack time above 100 milliseconds. It's all about compression. I'd say put heavy compression on, and if your vocals don't sound good with that, that's where you need to use the EQ. So put a blank EQ on first and then your compressors.
why it makes a vocal pop through a mix is just because I'm not entirely sure about the science behind it, but it works that way.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Let me tell you the science behind it. If you're at the point where you could hear the quiet stuff, that means you think it's that volume. That's basically it. So if you bring the quiet stuff up without bringing the top stuff up, you compress it, it sounds louder. Simple.
Sometimes if you, on the vocals, it might be good to actually bring these low down a bit and maybe put up the high a tiny little bit.
Yeah! Oh my god.
What are the rules regarding saving songs and uploading them to earn royalties?
Summary, ask everyone involved if it's cool. If you're the only one, ask yourself if it's cool. If you're involved with 2 people, ask them if it's cool, and then do that.
I watched some basic tutorials. Are there any training materials in more detail?
Maybe. Literally, that's like my thing, so do that.
We have something called the Soundtrap Academy, the Soundtrap Expert Course.
Do not do that academy, by the way. It's free, and you become a Soundtrap expert. They don't teach you squat on that thing. You learn more with one video in my thing than you do with that entire academy. They just show you the basics again. What? The teacher one might be good, but the expert one is trash.
If you could have any actress play you in a movie, who would it be and why is it Carey Mulligan?
She does look like Carey Mulligan.
Can I turn some loops backwards?
Yep.
How do you get the tempo to stay at the same... When you insert an MP3, how do you get the tempo to stay at the same beat as the song?
That's it. Because they just repeated the first question. Tell me if you guys like this one, because it's just kind of me being rude, but also like they suck at this stuff, so they kind of deserve it. They deserve it. Soundtrap, listen to me. Have me teach the expert course. I'm gonna make a video too about like what I tell Soundtrap if I could get in a room with these people. I don't know. I hope they see this video. Woohoo! That'd be. I might be going back on my words there. Might be being a little bit rude, but whatever. If you guys like this one, leave a comment down below if you liked it. Tell me what you want to see next. I appreciate you guys just for watching. Liking a sub goes a long way. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace, everybody. That's the whole video? Yeah, that's pretty much it. It was pretty quick. All right, peace. Because it actually is different from people who pay for Soundtrap and who don't. Download Audacity. Free program. Everybody should have Audacity on their computer. Go to youtube.mp3.com. Download a audio file of the tempo of your project of a YouTube video. So just type in 72 beats per minute metronome on YouTube. It'll give you like a 10-minute long clip. Download that file. Import that into Audacity. Cut 5 of them out so you see 5 of them. It's important that it's 5. Put the audio clip you want to sample in there. Cut the clip that you want to sample from the beginning point to the end point. Once you have your sample cut in Audacity, highlight the whole track with the sample on it. go to effects, change tempo, and then shrink your project so the end of your sample clip is at the beginning of the 5th hit of your metronome. Now you've stretched it. So that was the stretching that Soundtrap can't do yet. So then delete the track with all the metronome hits on it, export this audio, and import it back into Soundtrap. If you have the free version of Soundtrap, that's the best way to make it work for me. And this next thing will work for the paid version, but it won't be ideal for the free. You can make a new Soundtrap project, speed up that project to match what the sample is. And then once you have that, you go back to the tempo of your original song and click warp and change. So then you change the clip that was at that longer length to a shorter length, and then take that, export that track in an audio file, and put it back into your other project. The reason why that wouldn't work for people in the free version is because you get 5 projects to save in the free version, and it takes up that space. You might be on your 5th project. You might not want to take up space with just finding one sample in your thing. If you're on the free version, that's what we have to do. But nevertheless, if you want to stretch it, that could work in Soundtrap. Do it both ways. Those are the best ways to do it. I would do it on Audacity all the time if I could. Whatever it is, that's how you do it.